I have found one of the most natural ways that you can homeschool is to homeschool with the seasons. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to cover how that looks for us in our homeschool and how you can incorporate that into yours as well.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Joni and I blog over at simplelivingmama.com where we help moms simplify life, home, and homeschool. And today I got a new video for you guys and it's going to be all about seasonal homeschooling. If you've ever felt burnt out trying to do the same thing every week, day in and day out, this is something that you might be missing. Okay, this is called seasonal homeschooling. I have used seasonal homeschooling probably since the beginning of our homeschool journey because we as human beings are naturally aligned with the seasons. As our earth goes through the different 4 seasons, we find that our energy tends to shift with each one of those seasons. So it really only makes sense that we live seasonally. This is something that our ancestors did for all time, and it's sort of something that has lost its way in the modern world. Now, there are some exceptions here, such as public schools generally tend to get out in the summer. That's because historically, the kids were needed to help harvest the farm during the summertime. That's not really something a lot of people do anymore. But with that said, there's something about aligning your homeschool, aligning your life with the seasons and working with those seasons. And for us, that has really changed our homeschool, and I feel like it has made a lot of sense for our homeschool. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about how we homeschool seasonally, and this might be something that you're interested in doing as well. So instead of just trying to plow through everything that we think that we need to be doing in our homeschool, homeschooling seasonally allows us to slow down and invite what the season brings, and it helps us to avoid burnout because we have something to look forward to, something that just feels right to do. And I'm going to talk about how that can look throughout the different seasons in your homeschool. Okay, so let's get started with the spring season. So right now, when I'm recording this video, it's May. We are fully into spring now and summer is just around the corner. So what does that look like in my homeschool? The springtime here invites us outside more. So in wintertime, it's cold, it's very uncomfortable to be outside for long periods of time. So in spring, we tend to do a lot more outside activities and less reading aloud or reading inside. You know, this time has to come from somewhere. So in springtime, we're outside, we are observing the all of the new leaves on the trees. We're observing I want to say weeds, but all of the new flowers that are popping up. We have a lot of weeds in our yard and we like to try to identify those. We're spending more time at the park, going on nature walks, just generally observing all of the new life. One of the things that my kids are really into. So I introduced them last year to bird watching, and I feel like that is one of the things that has definitely stuck with them from all of our homeschool studies, is the study of the bird. So they got some binoculars, some new binoculars this year, and they've already started really paying attention to all of the birds that are coming back. We have a nest of barn swallows. You guys, I have tried to figure out a way to keep these barn swallows from not coming back to our front porch, and the reason being they're super messy and it's just something else that I have to clean up. And every year I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a fake owl and put it out here before they come back, and every year I don't do it, and then they're already back building their nest and laying their eggs. So we have barn swallows. We've learned their seasonal rhythm, and you know, just all of that. It's a great time to go and visit nature centers, just to get outside and explore the world outside. So what do we do in the summer months? So the summer months, I live in the South. It gets hot, really, really hot. So we're not always outside so much. I'm very fair-skinned, and honestly, I don't tolerate the sun and the heat very well. So we do try to plan some camping trips earlier in the summer. Those dog days of summer, July and August, no. I don't mind getting out if we can get out early in the morning or later in the evening, but I'm not going to be outside in the middle of the day in July and August. It's just way too hot. But some people are better able to tolerate the heat during those months than I am. But anyway, so during the summertime, we're not necessarily homeschooling. We do take a break. We tend to school through the end of June, and then we'll take off all of July and a little bit of August, and then we'll start back up in August. And that doesn't mean that the kids aren't still learning. So we do participate in the summer reading program through the library. They really enjoy that. So we look for new books to read during the summer. Plus, we look for fun desserts to make, not necessarily like the wintertime desserts that you might think of, like crumbles or crisps or things like that, but we're looking for fruit type desserts because all of the fresh fruits are in season. So, you know, we might make a strawberry icebox cake or some sort of cheesecake, like a no-bake cheesecake. My kids love to cook, so this is a great time to learn a lot of new fruit recipes, or just simply making a fruit salad and visiting the farmer's market, seeing what's there at the farmer's market, and different things like that. Now, we typically keep a garden. We haven't actually started it this year, and I kind of talked about in one of my previous videos why we haven't started our garden this year, and the main reason being that we're supposed to move in the next several months, very early next year, because my husband is in the military. We are in limbo right now. We have been told he may not be being moved. He may be moved. We got a list of choices already that we have tried to go through. None of them were really exciting for us. There's a chance we'll be moving to one of those places that were on the list that he received. There's a chance we're not going to be moving at all. And then there's a chance that he is going to be switching jobs within the Army, and that will open up a whole other can of worms, and we'll be moved somewhere we have no idea yet. So such is military life. I put off the garden because I thought we were going to be making these moving plans, and now maybe we're not moving, maybe we are, I don't know. But we haven't planted our garden. That said, I don't know if we're going to try to maybe get some plants that have already been started from the store, maybe grow some cucumbers and tomatoes. So we do like to plant a garden in the springtime, and then of course we're going to harvest it all through the summer. That is a wonderful seasonal activity that you can do with your kids. It doesn't have to be a big garden. Here at this house, we never did have a big garden, but it does require daily upkeep and care to keep those plants alive and stuff. So definitely gardening and then harvesting in the summertime months is a lot of fun. My kids are really into entrepreneurship right now, so I do have some kids that are wanting to try to do some mowing or maybe set up a lemonade stand. So that's another wonderful summer activity that you can do with your kids. And it does count as homeschooling if you want it to count as homeschooling. The kids are learning a lot by doing stuff like that. And then of course, just enjoying life, relaxing, having sort of a slower pace during the summer, where, you know, we're not so focused on the academics and making sure that boxes get checked off and all of that. I really love just the slower, lazier summer days. And of course, we do still take our kids swimming or go hang out at the creek. We love going to the creek in the summertime because it's a cool place to just splash around, all sorts of nature there. It's such a great experience for the kids. My kids are definitely creek kids. And also museums. The summer is a great time to visit museums. So I do realize that during the summertime, there's probably going to be a lot more people at the museums than other times, but it's still a great opportunity to get out and explore local museums, or if you're going on a trip, to go explore different science centers or museums in the area where you're going. So the summer is definitely a great time to continue learning, and you don't have to call it learning. I see people talk about, oh, life is not necessarily homeschool. You know, you don't always have to say we're always learning. You don't have to count it as learning. You don't have to count it as school. You can if you want, but do realize that every experience that you give your child, they are learning from that experience. And those are things that are completely priceless. Okay, so let's talk about homeschooling in the fall. I think this is probably the time that a lot of moms love homeschooling, because we're coming back from that summer break, if you took a summer break, and everything is new. This is when we're getting out the new curriculum. This is when we have all of these wonderful plans and ideas and expectations. A lot of times the kids are excited. They've got their new school supplies. They're ready to dive into that new curriculum or whatever, those new books and all of that stuff. Fall is a great time to really lean into homeschooling and finding fresh new read alouds, getting cozy with those books, seasonal baking. This is a great time to make all of those cozy seasonal treats that we are so accustomed to during the fall. This is also a great time to visit farms, so plan a field trip to a farm. We like to go to a pumpkin patch. That's so much fun. There is all kinds of great things to do during the fall. And also nature walks again. Fall nature walks are so much fun because you're observing the changes in the trees. You can observe the little animals that are scurrying about, getting ready to hibernate for the winter. It's a great time to look for fungi. So many wonderful things that you can do during the fall. So I definitely encourage you to lean into all of those fun fall things. Okay, and let's talk about the final season, winter. What does winter homeschooling look like? So this is a time when we tend to definitely shift indoors, especially if you live in a cold climate. It's a great time to read more books, to start poetry tea time if you've never done poetry tea time. This is a time when we personally do a lot more handicrafts. They're great for Christmas gifts. They are just great to learn and to do. And this is a time when you're not going to be spending a lot of time outdoors. So definitely start learning to make these different handicrafts while you have more time, while you're inside. Use candles in your homeschool. This is a great time to start using candles. Maybe start your day with a candlelit morning time. Just slower, cozier, quiet days. I know we personally spent all of January and February dealing with sickness, which was not fun. We did not get a lot of actual homeschooling done, but the kids did learn about helping out around the house a little bit more, and they learned about natural remedies that can help with different illnesses and things like that. So that's something that you can try to study during that time. And definitely winter is a great time to just turn inward and enjoy being inside and enjoy being together as a family just a little bit more. So how do you get started homeschooling seasonally if it's not something that you've done in the past? The first thing you need to do is sort of shift your expectations around. Realize that you're probably going to have a lot more energy and you're going to be a lot more involved in all of the things that you've planned for your homeschool during the fall. And then in the winter time, things are going to kind of slow down. A lot of people hit like a burnout time around January, February. This is a great time to reassess what you're doing in your homeschool and maybe take out some things that aren't working and then add some things that are going to bring a little bit more coziness and a little bit more to your homeschool, like those different handicrafts or different baking activities or different things like that. And then realize you're probably going to get a little bit of a renewal in the springtime and you're going to want to get your kids outside. And that energy will probably carry over into the summer just a little bit until you start slowing down, taking a break from your regular studies, and just enjoying the long dog days of summer. So other ways that you can homeschool seasonally is you can find great books. I have lots of seasonal and themed book lists on my blog that you might want to check out. You can do that. You can add in different nature studies that correlate with the seasons, different crafts if you're into crafts that correlate with the seasons. And one new thing that I am now offering on my blog is a free monthly homeschool activities calendar. This is available to my newsletter subscribers. The homeschool activities calendar is full of daily ideas for different activities you can do with your kids that correlate with things that are going on that month or with the season that month that month is in. So these aren't suggestions to make you do more. Okay, so that's not my point. My point is not add more and more and more and more and more to your plate. The point is for you to go through, look at the different activities. What are things that you can realistically do? You don't need, and I wouldn't suggest doing every single activity that's on the calendar. It would be overwhelming. But you can go through and you can find the activities that you could easily incorporate into your homeschool and just do those and sort of lean into doing those fun activities. There's different types. There's for the May calendar that I just released, we have very simple math activities, nature activities, of course. There's some art activities, and there's some language arts activities as well. Super simple, fun, easy to incorporate into your homeschool, and they help you to lean into the season and homeschool seasonally, if that's something that you're interested in doing. So homeschooling with the seasons has brought rhythm and joy and peace to our homeschool, and it has been such a great addition to our homeschool to just follow those seasons naturally and bring in different ideas and activities that we can do that correlate with the season. So I want you to tell me down in the comments, what is your favorite season to homeschool? And I'd love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one.